Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Ignite. We are very, very excited to come again and have some hopefully in-depth conversations that you're going to learn from. As always, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Shali Genga, and I am a storyteller. I love to tell stories. I love to learn and I love to acquire as much information as I can. I teach law and I also I write for the paper and just anything that involves writing and researching. Those are things that I'm very passionate about. Yeah.
My name is Lina Dior. I work at the intersection of media, marketing, and technology. In marketing, I help brands achieve exponential growth by designing excellent marketing campaigns. I had a recent client that was able to achieve 1 million customers in 11 months. I'm also a board member, an advisor, an award-winning marketer, consultant, among others.
So ignite. We are hoping that this topic will ignite change, will ignite something in your hearts, and maybe send you in the right direction of your life, or to make relevant changes that you need to make. Today's topic is very interesting, at least to me, and very dear to my heart. We'll be looking at seasons and the connection between the different seasons we go through and being intentional. In our last episodes, we talked about how important it was to live an intentional life, or you will wake up one day and realize that
Your
you
life has
wasted.
passed you by and you don't understand what happened. I'm 40. What on earth have I been doing with my life?
Yeah, that's very true. And it does happen for a lot of people,
Yeah.
because you end up like life just happening to you and you don't understand.
Yeah.
But a very important thing about intentionality is also seasons. You must, as much as being intentional is a wonderful thing, you also have to connect being intentional with the season that you find yourself in.
Yeah.
I think there is a verse, I won't go through, it's very long, in Ecclesiastic 3:1 to 8, which talks about the different seasons that we go through. As you're making your intentions known, or you're planning, or you're setting up a strategy to accomplish what you want to do, a key question to ask yourself is, what season am I in?
I agree. 100.
And a lot of times, because of the work that I do, a lot of times or on my own, I like to meet people and ask them different questions about their lives and how they are, just to find out. I love to get as much information as I can. I remember this one day, I had a conversation with a stay-at-home mom, and I had a conversation with a work mom. And the stay-at-home mom she said that she enjoyed being home. Making the decision to leave her career was hard, but it also came with certain benefits. And she went on to talk about her career, saying that when she goes for events, sometimes she doesn't know how to introduce herself. Some people look down on her because she's a stay-at-home mama. And she was saying that she wishes that she could build her career, but at the same time, she was in this season where she had chosen to stay home with her mom. And the ideal is, a lot of women do wish that they could have the opportunity to stay home and take care of their kids when their kids are young. And I had the opportunity to talk to a lady who was working in the office, and her conversation was different. She was like, I feel like my kids are growing up too soon, and I feel like I'm losing so much, but I need to work. I don't have the choice to stay at home. And I found it so interesting that both these women were at they're all mothers, but they are at two very different seasons. But each mother, if you look at it from a lens, they all had advantages and disadvantages in their seasons. But it was very interesting that they chose to focus on what they couldn't do
Yeah.
in the
What they
season
don't
that they
have.
are,
Yeah.
instead of being intentional about what exactly they could accomplish in the seasons that they want. Yeah.
You know, for that stay-at-home mom, she should know that some of the wealthiest people in the world are raised by their parents individually. Like there's a personal touch, and it's a privilege to have that opportunity to raise her child and impart the values that she has personally onto her children, to be able to witness them growing and learning and teaching them about life experiences, and vice versa, because the children are also teaching her the same thing. And that is a unique opportunity that not many people get to have. And interestingly, as we had that conversation, we were talking about how she could introduce herself, because while being a stay-at-home mom, she was also writing a book. And introducing yourself as a stay-at-home mom is an introduction in itself. It's a valid
Yes, that is
introduction,
very true.
and it's a valid job. Another thing she could also mention is that I'm also an author, as I'm writing a book. around raising of children, etc., etc. She can talk a bit about the topic, and that's a good enough discussion to have in a cocktail, and that can get people going, especially people who have a mindset of I see the value in what you bring to the table. If they don't see the value, then just thank them for their time and move on to another person to have a discussion with.
And just because, in case you're wondering, the stay-at-home mom had actually had discovered her passion for writing, and that's why Lena is talking about writing. As much as she was staying home and taking care of the kids, she had found that she had this extra time to write. And as Lena is saying, it is so dumbfounding that whatever season you find yourself in, and we were discussing this, whatever season you may find yourself in, there are advantages of that season and there are disadvantages of that season. What matters is what you choose to focus your focus on. Or I don't know if you can say that, but I'm thinking that you can. What do you choose to focus on in your season? If, for example, I am a single lady and I am not in a relationship, what do I have that someone who is in a married relationship does not have? You have time to know yourself, time to build your friendships, time to join all kinds of random courses and learn as much as you can. There's this exciting season where you can self-reflect and know yourself a little bit better.
You can build your skills in different areas. You can pick up your hobbies and even pick up new hobbies. You can learn to cook. You can network and build a strong relationship all over the world, a global relationship.
In fact, I was having a conversation with Lina and saying that I think when you're single, that is the only time you can actually cater to your own needs. You can be as selfish as you want to be. If you want to eat chocolate cake for supper, you can have your chocolate cake for supper, and no one is going to ask you anything. If you want to travel tomorrow, you can get up tomorrow and go, and you don't have to answer to anyone. And those are just the joys of let's say, being single. At the same time, when you are a mother, you might not be able to get up anytime and travel. You might not be able to maybe even take time with yourself. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who has a kid, and she was saying her kids follow her to the when she's going to the toilet, they follow her. There's one friend who told me that she has to in the shower take 5 minutes just to have her own space. And being a mother is wonderful. And we're just looking at look at your season, whatever season you are in. What is the good and what is the bad? There's always advantages to every season, and there are always disadvantages. And I think that it's very sad that you are in one season and you spend your time
thinking about the other season, how the grass is green on the other side, instead of optimizing that particular season you're in.
Yeah, that's very true.
For the case of that mother, my proposal was if there's a way she could find someone to attend to her children for some time, a couple of hours, so she can go and have adult conversations with other women, have coffee, engage in her hobbies, and do other things, so she can feel like a person again. So that when she goes home to attend to her children, she can actually connect with them in a wholesome way and feel like a whole, complete human being. And that means she has to fill her cup in one way or another. Find ways that make sense for her particular circumstance, so that it's not always about, oh, these children they are noisy. I can't wait for them to grow up. And then when they grow up and leave, you're like, oh, this house is so quiet. My children are all grown and gone. So you're basically living your life in regret throughout.
Yes, and you spend a lot of your life being in, not jealous, but looking at the grass that is greener on the other side. So it's kind of like a tragic way to live your life, because no matter what season you are in your life, you will never have everything.
Yeah.
Every season you'll have some things and some things you will not have. So you have to be very aware of the season you're in. And that even comes to like connecting it with intentions. For example, if I am in a certain season and I have a certain intention for my life, I have to be aware about the kind of season I am. If I am a young mother, maybe I may not be able to go to the gym at certain times. I have to be able to fit my intentions around the season that I find myself in. But if I am a person without kids, maybe I have more flexible time. So even though I have intentions, I have a way that I can work around that. So it's very important to just not know, not just, okay, sorry. It's very important to just not look at your life as I'm planning for the next season, but look at your life, the now that you are in. what are your advantages and what are your disadvantages? What can you squeeze your life from and benefit and make your life richer in the season that you are in? Because if you spend your time chasing what you don't have, you'll be so disappointed because you'll move from one season to the next season. When you go in that season, there's something you don't have and you're chasing after that. Instead of just saying, okay, I don't have that, but this is what I have. So how can I benefit and how can I maximize it to the best of my abilities? Huh?
Michelle Obama says that you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time.
Oh, okay, that's powerful. Huh?
So at different times, she had a focus on her career, and then there's a different time she had a focus on her children with less of a energy available for her career, and so on. So it's a balancing act depending on where you are at each time. So rather than put your energy on what you don't have, I think it's important to be able to think about and reflect about what's positive about your current circumstance and what's the best you can do with it now. I like the example you've given about if you're young and single, then you can focus on your hobbies. You can learn a new language. You can pick up a new skill. When you have your children in the house, engage with them and also moderate
Yes,
that by
yes,
having
yes,
other
yes.
activities that make you feel like a human being because it can take quite a bit of your energy. And when they leave the house because they've gone to study, then you now pick up other new hobbies, start a new career, and enjoy that particular period of time as much as is possible.
Yes, that's very true. So the trick is knowing, being self-aware, and maybe taking time to dial back and just look at your life and just reflect. Um, what do I have in this season? How can I maximize this season? What do I have in this season that if I move into another season, I may not have? For example, if you are a young lady and you're just getting into the work scene, you have the opportunity to give as much as you can to your workplace and to be able to rise faster maybe than other people, because maybe you might have more flexible time. That might not be necessarily true, but maybe in that situation you might have more time to dedicate work into your career. And then as you get older, maybe you get other responsibilities, and so now you might not, you can benefit from the work that you put in when you had time and you had been able to climb up the ladders. Now that you're in a position, maybe now you have to go home early because you have to take care of the kids, which is wonderful to be able to spend time with your kids. But you see, you're maximizing what you have in this season and maximizing it when you have in this season. Because like Lena and I were saying, is that seasons change and seasons are different. Even my season of maybe being a mother might not be the same as Lena's season of being a mother. And as I get older, I think the thing that I'm learning is that can I say the grass is greener? I don't know.
Yeah, the
There
grass
is
always looks
always
greener on the
the
other
grass
side.
always look
Yeah.
greener on the other side, but even within your own grass,
Yeah.
don't be so quick to want
dismiss it,
what
yeah.
other people want or to want what you don't have, that you fail to enjoy the blessing that you actually have in your season. There is always a blessing. You just need to open your eyes a little bit brighter. Open your eyes and see the blessing that you have in the season that you are, no matter how hard it may be, because I know we are all going through different seasons. But in every season, if you look, there is something to benefit. There is something to gain in that season. Yeah.
I remember one time I was living in Kenya and I kept saying, "Oh, I want to go abroad. I want to have a different environment. I want to have different circumstances." Then an opportunity came and I went to the Middle East. So I was living in the Middle East and I started saying, "Oh dear, I wish the weather in Nairobi, the weather was cooler. I had friends who knew me and now I have to start from scratch." And then I came back to Nairobi. I was like now saying, in the Middle East, I was making all this money. For goodness sake.
No, no, no. I find that sometimes we have like multiple personality or something. Like we always want what we can have.
Yeah.
If it's cold, it's too cold. If it's hot, it's too hot.
And then when you have it, you're
Yeah.
thinking about the thing that just left, that you
Oh,
had just dismissed.
it's so tragic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I think one of the most tragic thing. You must one of the key things that I'm really trying in 2023 is to live in the now.
Yeah.
Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future that you haven't got. Really look at your now. Like open your eyes to your now. What you have now, there may be so many gifts, so many wonderful blessings in your seasons. But if you do not open your eyes to see them, then you're never gonna enjoy them. You're never gonna receive them.
Here's another
it's
one.
just so tragic.
You're single and then you're looking for a partner. Oh, I wish I could have someone to go hiking with. Then you get a partner, you even get married. Then you're like, oh my goodness, you see now I can't spend time with my friends.
So it's like you're never really happy, and I think that's the tragedy of being human.
Yeah.
It's like whatever season you find yourself in is that it will never be. There'll always be something you don't have, and it's
And
the
it's okay not
and
to
it's
have everything
yes.
at the same
Oh,
time.
okay, I like that.
Yeah.
It is okay not to have everything at the same time. It
Yeah.
is just life. It's
So don't compare
adulting.
yourself
Yeah.
with others. And if you go to, they say comparison is the thief of joy. So if you go on social media and look at how people are living, that's the neatest picture, the neatest time that the house is in that order. It's never in that order until the time they took the picture, right? So don't assume that, oh, their houses are always neat, or they widely travel, they go all over the world. They traveled because they went for work. That's a picture they took after arranging their hair and positioning themselves to look very casual and relaxed. After that, they're going back to the conference they were there to attend.
Yeah.
Or you'll see, oh, this person has won another award. Hey, this is the only award they've ever won in their entire lifetime. Yeah. So it's not consistently that you'll always be on top of the world. You're on
Oh,
top
yeah,
in your
that's
own
deep,
way
yeah.
at your own time at different times. But looking at others, oh, she's so trim. Why is she always trim? Maybe she's starving. You don't know that. Or maybe she's unwell. Or maybe she's been on a fitness program for over a year to get herself in that position, and so on. So don't look at social media and imagine that others have it well. It's just me. Everybody is on a different journey.
So if we could conclude this podcast and summarize it into lessons, it's number one, know your season. Be very aware and self-aware of what season you find yourself in. And if you don't know, ask God, like figure out what is the season and what can I gain from it. Look at the advantages and the disadvantages. What else? If we could summarize, and also, just because you're in a bad season doesn't mean that you can't bear good fruit.
Yeah.
In a season that is difficult.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best gifts come from the most difficult seasons. And it doesn't mean because you're in a good season that everything is just also going to be good. So adulting 101, whatever season you find yourself in, whether it is magnificent, whether it is lacking, there'll always be something you don't have, but there'll always be something that you do have. So maximize on what you actually do have, even as you're being intentional and trying to live a life of purpose. Yeah.
I would say that also a lot of people have had a tough time, especially in the last couple of years. But they say that it's darkest just before dawn. When it's really, really hard, it's about to get better. And these challenges are here to transform us, to prepare us to be better for this wonderful opportunity that's just about to arrive.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our conversation on seasons. Whatever season you are in, let's maximize it and let us be intentional.